Coach, when you look at this game, just to have the resolve at the end there, knowing that New Orleans was making run after run, just what you think of that fourth quarter?
I told the guys that exact word, resolve. They've been having big third quarters against us for whatever reason. We couldn't make a shot, but we were getting quality looks in the third. And we told our guys in a late timeout in the third, like, we can't waver right now because we're getting good shots, putting pressure on our defense because we're playing in transition a little bit, but the shots were there. But for our team to be able to weather the run that they made was huge. And, the stats speak for themselves. So many guys had big games, but I thought the way we played in the paint tonight, I think we had 64 points in the paint. That's huge for us. And then they only had one offensive rebound in the second half, I think. And that's another marker that speaks to the physicality and the conditioning that's starting to come back.
You look at Aiden setting the tone early.
Yeah.
How huge was that for you guys?
Well, I kicked myself the other day when I looked at the stat sheet, and I kind of felt it in game two that, he didn't get enough opportunities. Now that might not have changed the outcome in game two because they beat us. I don't want to say anything that disrespects what they did in game two, but he just didn't get enough opportunities in that game. And tonight, we tried to look at him on the post a little bit. And then I thought Chris did a really good job of trying to get him the ball in short roll. But he was, dominant tonight. I mean, you look at those numbers, 28 and 17 on the road, and we needed every one of them. So it's a huge win for us. But I told our guys, we can't get happy on the farm. We're going to play a team that just won't quit. And we got to have the same mental stamina plus in the next game.
Last thing I had was just Chris in that fourth quarter, scored 19 again in the fourth. But what did you see as far as how they were playing him and how he was reacting to
Well, they went to some switching. Earlier, they went to a normal coverage. There was some changing of the coverages. And then they went to, trap him. He just kept making the right plays. I wish I could tell you that there was some orchestration going on, but that's just Chris. His ability to, see the floor. Obviously, he can score the ball, but he was still making the right plays. And it allowed for us to get to the free throw line. When they started hitting him, we'd find the guy in the middle, and then we attack out of that. I think Cam had an open three on the left wing. He just missed it, but that was a byproduct of Chris just making the right play.
Monty, in the first half, especially just the way that Brandon and CJ were limited, what do you think of the job Mikal and others did?
I just think, it just takes a lot of focus and energy. But you also have to have good team defense around you. You have to show those guys bodies, and you can't get deterred, upset, emotionally off your game when they make a tough shot, because that's what they do. Even at the end, they were hitting some tough ones. It's just who they are. I thought we did a much better job of not allowing anybody else to have a huge night. Even though Graham came in and gave them a spark, and Alvarado, he's just a tough player. And I think everybody that guarded those two guys tonight, speaking of Ingram and McCollum, they ended up with 64 points, but I think it was a tough 64. And that's how you have to make it for guys that score every night in this league.
JaVale told us earlier in the year that as a center, he felt like this team really tries to get the centers the ball. You guys all year have tried to focus on those mismatches and getting them the ball. How much have you seen you guys improve at that to get to this point where you guys really took advantage of it tonight? Yeah,
I just feel like a couple of years ago when we first got here, we weren't as smooth in that environment, how to pass the ball, teaching the bigs to play in Tim Duncan, catch high, keep it high. They're switching a number of pick and rolls, and you have to make them pay. It's just something we've worked on. Coach Mark Bryant with the bigs, he continues to tell those guys to play big, keep the ball high, and then make reads. And I thought JaVale did a good job. There were times where he caught it on the block and he didn't panic, and he was able to, spin off and get us a good look. The other thing, those shots are short shots, so you're not dealing with long rebounds that turn into transition buckets. And that's something that we've tried to focus on, is like flattening them out with post-ups if we can. We don't want to take away from our 3-ball, but if we can take advantage on the block or in the paint, we will.
Coach, with the 3-point shooting, it felt like there were just a lot of missed open looks.
Just missed shots. We told, again, in the third quarter, I felt like we got quality looks. In that late timeout, I just told our guys, like, we just got to keep playing that way, even though we're missing shots, and we only scored 22 points in that third, and they had 31. And that was probably the difference. We just missed so many open threes. But again, I thought the mental stamina that we showed through that allowed for us to, make some big shots in the fourth quarter.
You mentioned resolve and mental stamina, that shot that Jay Crowder took
Yeah.
in the first half.
Yeah.
How did you like the way that they responded to that kind of play?
Which shot are you referring to? The one he hit in the corner, or
I'm
just?
sorry, when he got checked by.
Oh, I mean, it's obviously you just want to protect your guy. When he got hit, I didn't even see the play. And then the coaches told me it was, one of those hits that, you just don't want to see in basketball. And as a man, you want to respond, but we've always said we want to win the game and not the fight. And I thought he did a good job of, controlling himself, because that's hard to do in that moment. If you've ever played in this league, you're probably going to be in that situation once or twice. And you got to do the best you can to keep your awareness of, time, score, situation, and how much you mean to the team.
I don't know, kind of an obvious question about Chris, but in the overall context, what we've seen in fourth quarter, game 1, and tonight, what are we witnessing here with him? How would you describe that?
I mean, he's just one of those players that plays the right way. He understands, the when and how, to create for himself and others. And the leadership qualities that you guys don't see in the timeouts is probably just as impressive as what he does on the floor, even though what he does on the floor is so meaningful to the team. But you could sit here all day talking about Chris, but knowing him the way I do know him, it's over with, and he's already moved on to get ready for the next game. And I think that's the resolve and the focus we have to have. We want to get out of here, go get some rest, and come back to the gym tomorrow and prepare. And it starts with, that kind of mindset that Chris has shown all season long.
Monty, I'm sure Landry's kicking himself for a couple of those threes, but for him to play 30 minutes
Yeah.
in this game after not playing game, can you speak to just that?
Nah, he's just been ready. I had a conversation with him before the playoffs started that, he could be in that situation where he might not be in the rotation, and he just kept himself ready. And, there's a tendency to not necessarily pout, but, go, woe is me. And he came back in the gym the next day, did his normal deal. He played in the pickup game that we had with our guys who weren't playing and the coaches. And he played in that game like he was a starter. And I think that's why he's been able to be productive on the floor. I thought the way he's attacked the rim in these past 2 games, says a lot about, there's layers to his game. And I think the more he plays, we're going to see some of his shots go down.
Coach, what led to you starting Cam in the first half, and then what led you going with Shaman to start the second half?
Well, they didn't have Hayes, so we just figured they may go smaller, and Cam had 3 fouls. So I think that it was part of the process. You're asking me to remember a lot, but that was probably the reasoning behind that. And Landry was playing well, and his ability to help with the ball handling helps us a lot, especially when you don't have Book.
Coach, I don't know if you heard down the stretch, but there was an F Chris Paul chant that broke out in New Orleans.
Yeah.
When you come into
And
the
I
building.
listen, this city is not about that. I would say whoever did that it is probably a small minority. This city has always been good to Chris, and those kinds of chants aren't indicative of the people of this city. I don't know who did that, and I really don't care. I know that the majority of the people in this city respect Chris and what he's been able to do in this city for families and kids speaks for itself. So that kind of stuff is you don't even want to speak to it because it's certainly not a commentary on the people of this city. Yep.
Thank you.